Vale, continúo la campaña del Bond by Flame. El otro día me quedé aquí en el pueblo este, no sé ahora mismo cómo se llama, el primer pueblo que visitamos en el juego. Y estoy en la zona del ayuntamiento. Vale, voy a hablar con el tío este. A ver qué me cuenta. Oye, un respeto a la noble profesión de mercenario. No me gustan mucho los mercenarios. Bueno, eso, lo último que hice fue hablar con el tipo este. De hecho, bueno, se vio una escena en la que el tipo este nos hablaba, nos decía que eso, que llevamos un demonio dentro, que salió mal el ritual ese que estaban haciendo, y que nos metieron una especie de demonio dentro, y eso, nos dijo que no le hiciésemos caso al demonio, porque si no absorberá nuestra humanidad poco a poco y no sé cuántos. Algo así. Vale, aquí estoy oyendo algún tintineo, creo que es porque tengo un cofre cerca. Como me puse me subí la habilidad esa. Vale, es esto. Metal bruto, volumen de corazón, poción de mana, vale. Pues eso, cuando tengo un cofre cerca, ahora con la habilidad esa que me puse, que me subí, eso hace un ruidito, hace ese ruidito y es eso, que tengo un cofre cerca. Y por aquí estoy oyendo otro. Vale, aquí es donde estaba el elfo este. El rey elfo ese que está enfermo, herido o algo así. Vale, pues me dieron 2 misiones y una de ellas era cazar una bestia o algo así. Y para eso creo que tengo que hablar con el tipo este. Lo que está sonando no será esto de aquí, ¿no? Pues sí que no era. Cuero, poción de salud, trampa expansible, vale. No solo me detecta cofres, sino que también esos barriles también. Imagino que cualquier tesoro en general. Hay trabajo para mí, quisiera saber más sobre este pueblo, luego hablamos. Vale.
I've got a few questions I'd like to ask about this village.
I imagine there are few who are better placed than myself to answer them.
Este es el intendente que tiene un cara un poco de cabrón. No tiene cara de tramar nada bueno.
How come it's you that's running the show here?
Parece un poco un cete.
What a question. Because, my friend, someone has to. You imagine I'm doing this for my amusement, perhaps. Doubtless you wish it was someone else. The chief of the watch has trouble organizing 3 peasants. Our dear apothecary is evidently keen to give succor to any and every poor soul who wanders into the healing house. And regardless of your reputation, the people of this village would never trust outsiders such as yourself, or even the Red Scribes. So yes, it is indeed I who command here. The one-time steward of the hunting lodge of Valvanor, now leader of this shithole.
Well, hell. Glad we got that cleared up. What can you tell me about the people of Valvanor?
Before the war, there were just a few families here. Hunters and craftsmen, mostly. These days, they survive as best they can, husbanding their animals and digging up the puny vegetables they've managed to grow. Few dare to venture outside the walls. These woods are fruitful, but more perilous than ever before, and most of these folk know nothing of arms.
But you've got your guards.
They hardly qualify as an armed militia. Of the few that remain, most are sturdy farmers whom we have entrusted with some kind of weapon. Most of the real fighters left the village as soon as war broke out. The others died while out on patrol. The only one left here with any real experience is Mason, the head of the guard. Sadly,
el que me cae bien. Mason es el que me cae bien.
Who could not give a dog's fart for what his men are about.
No es el que me cae bien. Creo que todavía no lo he conocido. A mí el que me cae bien es el que habla de sí mismo en tercera persona.
Who are all those refugees that you're keeping outside the walls?
The war with the Ice Lords has driven many from their homes and villages. Alas, it would seem that some of them found their way here. I have tried to accommodate as many as we can, and provide as much comfort as possible, but I fear we can do little more. We are reaching the end of our reserves, and relations between the refugees and the villagers are becoming strained.
The refugees can't all be dead weight. Some of them have got to be useful.
Oh, if only. Believe me, I would be the first to welcome them. These peasants have been fleeing from town to town and from camp to camp for months. The best and strongest of them perished in battles, somewhere along the way. I must deal with the leftovers. I put the biggest of them in the watch, but they are of little use.
The healing house. It's a pretty good thing for your village, huh?
If you say so. As time has gone by, the healing house has drawn refugees to the swamps in ever greater numbers, and dissuaded some malingerers from returning to their families. When it opened its doors a year ago, the sense of relief was palpable. It was run by a couple, an elf doctor and his apothecary wife, who clearly were no strangers to the healing arts. Thanks to them, we were spared many plagues. But as the war dragged on, the endless tide of refugees continued to flow through our gates until we could harbor no more. 6 months ago, our worst nightmares were fulfilled. Our elf doctor fell ill and died. Since then, Mirana has soldiered on without rest, alone. I do not know how much longer she can keep going. The refugees just keep on coming. And I fear that poor woman is beginning to crumble under the strain. It's not surprising.
Sí, la he notado un poco estresada antes cuando he estado hablando con ella.
I need a blacksmith. Do you have one here?
With none more qualified, I asked Asiel to take over the village fort. I suppose I should warn you, he's quite a tricky character. He has a huge ego.
Y es muy simpático también.
Before the war, he was a sort of artist. He crafted jewelry and sculptures from metal. Despite running the forge, one could hardly call him a blacksmith. But he's the only one here who had even the vaguest notion of how to repair a shovel or straighten a blade.
The captain wants me to help your village. You got a job I can do?
With our shortages of food and fighting men, our worn-out equipment and the growing lines at the healing house, I cannot deny our village is sorely in need of help. Sadly, I fear that these are not the sort of problems you are used to dealing with, unless I'm much mistaken.
Maybe I'll surprise you.
Vale.
So what's the problem with the healing house?
Quite simply, Mirana cannot keep up. She spends every waking minute giving out supplies to the refugees and refuses to admit that she cannot help everyone. She thinks she's fooling me. I have heard rumors that her food stock is running low. Unsurprisingly, the crowds outside are becoming restless. I believe they wish to continue handing out our food reserves as though they were unlimited. This is not the case, and thus, it is not an option.
So, you want someone to put her down?
Why, I never suggested any such thing. I just wish she would see reason, for all our sakes. But I have asked nothing of you. I was merely answering your question.
Your guards... How can I put this? At first, I thought they were disobeying orders. Now I think maybe they don't even understand them. If you're stupid and incompetent, you should be digging turnips, not taking care of security.
You're beginning to worry me. Is it really that bad?
Are you kidding me? The state of their weapons is enough to make you cry. Maybe they'd be good for splitting logs.
Personally, I'm not capable of judging the aptitude of our sentries, but their poor results speak for themselves. Doubtless, you should share your observations with Mason, the chief of the watch. I should warn you, however, that he is of a somewhat stubborn nature.
Wouldn't be the first I've seen. I need the reports about this beast that attacked the villagers.
I fear I am unable to be of help. I'm still not entirely convinced that it even exists. All I know is that several villagers have vanished. One villager is at present in the doctor's care, following a supposed encounter with the said beast. These swamps are crawling with dangers. There is nothing to suggest anything out of the ordinary. The refugees are always inventing horror stories in an attempt to force us to open our gates and let them inside.
It might be worth checking it out. You said you lost one of your patrols, right?
That is so. You should speak with Randval. He was most anxious to go out and hunt the beast down, but we needed him here. Now that we have more able bodies to guard our gates, I imagine he would be keen to pick up the scent once more.
I need the reports about this beast that attacked the villagers.
I fear I am unable to be of help. I'm still
Vale, me está diciendo lo mismo
that several villages.
que
These
me acaba de
swamps are
decir.
crawling with dangers. There isn't
Vale.
the refuge.
It might be...
That is now that
Me está diciendo lo mismo. Y aquí imagino que también si odia esto, no me dirá nada nuevo. Vale, no me dice nada.
We'll talk again later.
Pues me acaba de dar 3 misiones secundarias. A ver, mirando a la sonadora del dispensario. Hablar con el intendente de los problemas de Valvenur. Y hablar con Mason, el jefe de la guardia. Vale. Voy a hacer una cosa, voy a guardar, antes que nada.
The Order of the Freeborn Blades is of great repute, and the mercenary does honor to its name. The mercenary's powers are both astonishing and fascinating. The knight would like to duel with the mercenary, that he may judge the mercenary's strength.
Es el primero que habla bien de los mercenarios. Normalmente él se nota que les tiene un asco increíble. ¿Por qué no? Nunca he venido a luchar, claro que sí. Bailemos.
Sure. I can never turn down a good fight. But maybe we should take it outside if we don't want to break everything in here.
The knight is honored, and bows to his adversary's wisdom.
Wait for me here, Sybil. I won't be long.
The knight hopes that his adversary will not hold back his blows.
Oh, you can count on it.
Cabrón.
The knight has never before battled an adversary with such power, and he believes that he could be that which is needed to change the course of this war.
You fight pretty good yourself.
Es duro, este tío es duro. Pero eso, para vencerle pues hay que hacerle contras y tener mucho cuidado con sus ataques, sobre todo una patada que hace que te tira al suelo. Vale.
Where did you learn your moves?
Me cae bien el tío este.
Fight like that in this backwater.
The knight has traveled far and fought many battles. He has only lived in this village for a short time.
What are you doing in the middle of these swamps when you could be making a difference on the battlefield?
The knight has fought a great many battles, but he feels he can be more useful protecting those who have nothing left.
I have to go. I'm glad we could test each other's mettle. It was fun.
Before his adversary rushes off to fight other battles, the knight has a question for him. He wishes to know if the freeborn blades would like him to join them.
Puedo preguntar al capitán. No estamos en fase de reclutar. Sí estamos en fase de reclutar, de hecho, porque el otro había dicho que uno de ellos me había dicho que habían perdido en el templo y eso, y que de hecho necesitaban reclutas, y que no sé quién de hecho se había ido a reclutar a eso, no a carne de caña, no reclutas.
I'm not the one who decides who joins the company, but I can ask the captain for you.
He has thought long on it and wishes it would be so.
Well, that's great. I'll ask him, but I can't promise you anything.
Sugiere al capitán de los espadas libres que reclute a Randaval. Vale, pues otra misión nueva. Ganar el duelo contra Randaval, vale, eso está hecho. De todas formas, voy a volver a entrar en el edificio ese en cuanto coja las cosas que hay por aquí. Vale, aquí hay algo para coger. Sabía que había un cofre por aquí. Por eso, por el sonidillo, es el tintineo que hace cuando tengo un cofre cerca gracias a lo que me puse, el atributo ese. Vale, he cogido unas glebas élficas, voy a ver si son mejores que lo que llevo. Vale, esto era... aquí. Botas de espadachín es lo que tengo, ¿no? No, son peores. Bueno, creo que son peores. Defensa más 3% más 2% las otras. Sí, son peores, sí. Así que no me las voy a cambiar. Vale. Pues voy a eso, a entrar de nuevo en el ayuntamiento. Que me parece que me quedaba alguno con el que hablar. De hecho, con el Randaval este tengo que hablar de nuevo, con el que acabo de hacer el duelo este para lo de la misión de la bestia. Vale, voy a guardar.
The knight heard talk of a troubling event that happened during the meeting between the mercenary and the steward.
Yeah, the short version is that I have a demon living inside of me.
A demon? The knight has never heard of such a creature. Should he be worried?
No te preocupes, solo me hace más fuerte, aún no, pero bueno, dale tiempo. Tengo que deshacerme de esto, pero tú no puedes ayudarme. Vale. Vale.
For now, it's just a voice in my head that doesn't seem to want to hurt me. But if I start spitting fire and attacking everybody, counting on you to do what has to be done, okay?
The knight is honored by the trust placed in him. He will not betray it.
Creo que se ha tomado eso como una halago. Puedo hacer que este me acompañe, de puta madre. De puta madre.
I have a few questions I need to ask you. You mentioned the Order of the Ember Knights. What is that?
It is the order that a knight belongs to. They are the surviving warriors and honored soldiers of other orders that were lost during this war.
Oh, so it's kind of the Order of the Orphan Knights.
This name does not sound well to his ears.
Right. So you haven't always been an Ember Knight.
No. He was first a defender of the Algander Islands. Then he was a Templar of the Order of Virgins, and then a Brother of the Rock, and then a Summer Track.
So all of those orders have been lost. That must have been hard.
He has lost many valorous companions in battle, and his heart is heavy with scars.
I'll bet. So what is the creed of the Ember Knights?
The knight has long searched for the answer. Now he knows it. To seek a glorious death and carry as many enemies as possible away with him.
That's kind of depressing.
Conmigo tu deseo será realidad, pues no esperes que yo te ayude. Vale.
If you follow me, we should be able to find a chance for you to get your beautiful death. Just try not to commit suicide at the first available opportunity.
The knight will wait for this moment.
You're not from around here. Where do you come from?
The knight was born in the Algander Islands. It is a proud and savage place where the struggle against the wind and vicious neighbors makes a man strong. The Ice Lords attacked the islands more than 15 years ago, long before the rest of Vertial knew that the world was now at war. The clans were always fighting, but they fought together as brothers when the islands were threatened. And as a defender of Algander, the knight had the honor to be one of the first to fight, and with his brothers for a long time he repulsed the invader. Some of the clan chiefs wanted to make peace with the Ice Lords, but the Ice Lords betrayed them, and the clans were decimated. Their numbers were sorely missed during the following battles, and in a few short months the war was almost lost. The knight was sent by the surviving clan chiefs to the mainland to find allies. But time is a cruel master. When he returned to his homeland, the islands were buried beneath the ice.
So how did you end up in the village of Valvanor?
When he saw that all his kin were slain, the knight was hungry for revenge, and sought out battles to bathe his pain in blood. But in every battle, he lost more of his brothers in arms, and faced an enemy that only grew stronger. The orders were always hazardous, with betrayals common and errors never-ending. Faced with these eternal difficulties and death, always more death, the knight lost his hope, so he left the field of battle. He decided instead to take care of the war's victims, to protect them, even though he knew it could only last a short time. It is a final mission without any other hope but to give comfort and relief to a few innocent souls.
What do you think of the Red Scribes?
Their studies have made them blind. Only knowledge interests them. They show contempt for all else. Today they have the ear of the last surviving warriors. They do not deserve this honor, and their words are hollow.
So what did you abandon when you entered into the Order of the Ember Knights?
The knight has already said he does not wish to speak of this.
Esta podría ser la última oportunidad para hablar de ello. No te lo preguntaré más. Esta podría ser tu última oportunidad de hablar de ello. Y es que me fié de ti. Vale. Bueno, voy a respetarle.
Fair enough. I won't ask you anymore. Let's change the
Ya le
subject.
preguntaré más tarde, de todas formas.
I have a few questions I need to ask you. Let's change the subject. We need to talk about your combat style.
How should the knight best behave when facing his adversaries?
Vale.
Don't change a thing. You're doing just fine.
So be it.
Let's change the subject.
Vale, pues lo voy a decir yo conmigo.
Ranville, I need you. Come with me.
The knight is proud to be of service.
Vale.
I am busy, mercenary. Go.
Vale, no me cuenta nada nuevo. El intendente ese tampoco creo que me vaya a contar nada nuevo. Aquí ya he estado explorando. Arriba tenía un cofre. Aquí no creo que haya nada más, ¿no? Vale, está el tipo este. Vale, por aquí parece que no hay nada más. Que es un polvo de nuevo corazón, vale. Cambiar componentes. Combina componentes directamente desde el menú bolsa para conseguir otros de calidad superior.
So, you have returned. What is your desire?
The steward said there was a beast attacking the villagers.
This is what one hears, yes. Something is wandering through the swamps, devouring the reckless. The saddest part is that it's often the guards who end up lost, along with their equipment. Meanwhile, we are overrun with refugees who serve no useful purpose at all.
Show me what you have for sale.
A ver si vende algo nuevo. No. Hombre, me gustan más estas botas que las que llevo. Lo único eso, son peores. Vale. Estaba viendo lo rojo, es simplemente lo que pierdo respecto a lo que tengo equipado. Vale, o sea que directamente me compara con lo que tengo equipado. Pues estas debería venderlas porque son peores, de hecho. Aunque me gusten, estéticamente me gustan más. Bueno, de momento no las voy a vender. ¿Cuánto cuestan? Además solo me da 11 monedas, tampoco es mucho. Vale. ¿Esta cuándo la he cogido? No sé cuándo he escogido esta espada, pero es mejor que lo que llevo. Vale, pues me la voy a equipar. Vale, lo que hago, como le he puesto Utilizo materiales para mejorarlo. Lo que hago es esto. Aquí hay una opción que es reciclar, que imagino que desmonta el arma y me da los materiales de nuevo. Vale. Y ahora pues eso, voy a mejorar con esos materiales, voy a mejorar esto. Vale, esto es para hacer más daño. Esto mismo. Y esto para... Ah, vale, no me había fijado. Que cambian, dependiendo de lo que le pongo, cambian las empuñaduras y eso. Vale. Vale, pues le voy a poner este. Eso está bien, la armadura también, según lo que le mejores, por ejemplo, las sombreras, si las haces para defensa física o mágica y tal, van cambiando, son diferentes. Vale. Aquí tengo un par para hablar. Vale, este...
Would you just shut your stupid mouth for 2 seconds, please? The steward sent me here to help you.
Oh, that's all I need. Don't he think I got enough on my plate? Now he sends me some ore blade from God's nowhere. Hey, as long as it ain't me is paying for you, hey? You want to help? Knock yourself out. I warn you, there's plenty to do.
Get to the point before I set your breath on fire.
All right, take it easy. No need to get nasty, eh? You want to help? Yes or no?
Keep talking.
Well, for a start, you could try and find one of my patrols that's gone missing. At first, I thought maybe one of those half-wits was sleeping it off under a tree somewhere. But it's been a while now. Maybe something bad happened to him in the swamp.
I guess I could go back and check.
What a coincidence. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. After that, well, I suppose a pro like you, I guess it would be useful helping out the sentries. It won't be luxury. I don't know if you've seen what we're supposed to fight with, but, wow, if you can have a word with your quartermaster to see what he can do for my lads, you have my blessing. The benediction of a drunk. Better and better.
It's what all us fucking mercenaries dream of. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Right. We may be living in the arsehole of Virtue, but being armed like a bunch of tramps we can do without. And while you're at it, when you've been to the forge, you'll probably feel like letting off steam a bit. Why don't you go and take it out on my lads?
What do you mean?
Kick their arses so they can't sit down and get drunk instead of patrolling. And show them a couple of tricks while you're at it. A bit of training. Couldn't do no harm.
Igual empiezo por ahí, necesito aparear a alguien. Me ocuparé de formar a tus hombres más tarde.
I'll train your men later, when I can come up with a program that's adapted to their abilities.
Whatever you like. Don't hang around too long, though, or the creatures in the swamp will take care of them before you get a chance.
Hay que repasar los problemas con los centinelas. Me gustaría saber más sobre la gente de aquí. ¿Has oído hablar? Vale.
A barfly like you probably knows a lot about the people here, I'm guessing, huh?
Flattery will get you everywhere.
You look like you can probably handle a sword. How come you didn't get recruited?
Oh, just unlucky, I suppose. Last time an Alliance recruiter come through, I was stuck in the crapper. Worst dose of the shits I ever had.
Forget I even asked.
So, I never got to the front. I can't tell you how much I regret that.
What's your opinion of the steward?
My opinion? Tell the truth, I never liked how he talks, like an elf reject. But he does what he can. And honestly, he manages better than I do. Him and me, we ain't always seen eye to eye. For example, if it had been up to me, I'd have driven them refugees back into the swamps. And fuck what that bleeding art apothecary says.
How is it going with the refugees?
I'm not a monster. I got nothing against sheltering a few brave souls. Most of my lads are blokes who are here to protect their families. But enough is enough. I just can't protect everybody. You can't squeeze a whole city into a fucking life raft.
How well do you know Randall?
Well, not enough to trust him. Him with his airs and all. The night with this and the night with that. Having said that, he has saved us from a few accidents in the village. He's a damn good fighter, and he don't ask questions. Balls of steel, that one. Sometimes I think he must have a death wish or something. If that's so, he ain't taking the easy way out. But then, who gives a toss? When he turned up a few weeks ago, it certainly took some of the pressure off. But he acts like his shit don't stink. Obviously, me and the lads aren't good enough for the likes of him.
Y cree bien. Vale, este es el Mason, es el oficial de... el jefe de los soldados de por aquí. El que pensaba que no había visto todavía. Porque este tío... había hablado con él, pero parece tiene pinta de vagabundo o algo así. Vale, esto ya le he preguntado antes. ¿Qué opinas del intendente? Eso también le he preguntado. Vale.
A barfly like you probably knows a lot about it.
Flattered.
A lot of the villagers have been complaining about a wild beast in the area. Do you know anything?
Who knows if it's just one animal? The swamp's always been a bit dangerous. But since you want to know, one of my lads on the west gate swears up and down he saw something. And a patrol found another one tore up pretty bad. He's still in the healing house. Considering the bunch of cowards we got hiding in the village, if I was you, I wouldn't pay much mind to what they says. Or at least, don't go wasting your time until you got real proof.
Vale.
About those sentry guards.
Voy a entrenar a los centinelas. ¿Por dónde ha desaparecido tu patrulla? ¿Dónde puedo ir a mejorar el material de los centinelas?
Is there some place in the village where I can get your men's equipment repaired without it costing me an arm and a leg?
Only one I know of is that ass blacksmith's forge. And just talking to him usually costs me an arm, 2 legs.
Suele costarme un ojo, 2 piernas y los 2 huevos.
Thanks for the tip. So where exactly did the patrol disappear?
Somewhere out in the swamp, to stop the chrysalids from regrouping too close to the village. But I specifically ordered them not to go too far.
I'll handle it. I'll go find them. Your men can't afford to keep their thumbs in their asses. It's time to teach them how to use those weapons.
Knock yourself out, Payblade. I'll go and shake them awake.
¿Qué tengo que...? Cabrones.
Perfect. I couldn't have done better. I reckon the lesson is gonna leave a few marks this time. Have you got time to go again, while they're still warmed up?
Claro, ¿por qué no?
Why not? Let's go.
Pero vamos, esta forma de enseñar no sé si es muy didáctica. Joder. A ver si me recupero un poco. Mierda. Yo tengo que andar controlando, no comerme una flecha. Y no tener cuidado del tío este también. Mira, coño. Por los mierdas estos. Suelta, atacar, maricona. Joder. Cabrón. No quiero gastar pociones, pues no las estoy usando. Si me cargo a uno de estos, lo tendré bastante fácil. Cabrón. Con las putas patadas de mierda. Joder. Vale. Uno menos. Y eso es lo que de este pedazo de mierda. Haz kung fu, maricona. Joder.
Even so, they are making progress. If you whack them enough times, they remember how to defend themselves.
Sí, ahora eran más duros que antes, es
Give them
verdad.
one last lesson.
Por supuesto, claro que sí.
One last lesson.
Vale. Voy a cambiarle. Voy a hacer que este tío sea más defensivo. Que está en apáñate sin ayuda, reacciona de forma autónoma en la función de la situación, no. Proteger todo lo posible. Vale, así por lo menos aguantará un poquito más. muérete. Vale, buena. Joder, con las mierda de las flechas. Cabrón. El ataque ese con el que les tira al suelo va de puta madre. Ahí, al suelo.
Nice job. Of course, they'll hate you for a while, but what they learned here today will save their lives one day.
My pleasure. I like this way of saving lives.
Ya ves, es que ahora son bastante más duros.